I never imagined that an innocuous digital receipt could shatter the boundaries of my carefully orchestrated routine, thrusting me into a night of clandestine allure and undeniable transformation. It was late on a dreary Tuesday evening, one of those endless, rain-soaked nights when the city's neon glow is the only spark amid a sea of darkness, when I received an unexpected notification on my phone. The screen lit up with a series of digital receipts, one confirming a reservation at a posh bistro I'd never heard of, another detailing a booking for a glamorous hotel stay. My heart pounded as I scrolled through the transaction details, the bistro's name elegantly scripted as La Belle Époque, followed by a timestamp that read 8:15 p.m. The hotel confirmation, from Aurora Lux, stated check-in for that very night in a suite reserved exclusively for me, or so it seemed. At first, I assumed it was a clerical error. I double-checked my bank account and recent online orders, convinced that perhaps I had made an impulsive purchase and forgotten in the haze of my busy workdays. But nothing matched these charges. I distinctly remembered spending the day meticulously organizing spreadsheets and fielding endless emails in my cramped downtown office, with no room for indulgence in lavish dining or opulent escapes. Confusion gave way to a curious thrill as I considered the possibility: was someone orchestrating a secret rendezvous for me? And if so, why? With my pulse racing, I decided that tonight, I would follow the breadcrumbs laid out before me. I began by retracing the digital trail. The first receipt was from La Belle Époque, a posh bistro located in a refurbished historic building in one of the city's most exclusive quarters. Its reputation, I later learned from discreet online forums, was built on impeccable service, exquisite cuisine, and an air of mystery that attracted a certain type of clientele, individuals who, like me, craved more than the mundane pace of everyday life. The second receipt confirmed a reservation for a suite at Aurora Lux, a glamorous hotel known for its Art Deco elegance and discreet privacy. I felt both excitement and trepidation as I contemplated the possibility that tonight's encounter might be orchestrated by someone who saw in me a spark I hadn't even recognized before. Determined to uncover the truth, I quickly prepared for the evening. I rummaged through my wardrobe until I found a dress that exuded quiet sophistication, a deep emerald silk number that complemented my skin tone without screaming for attention. I paired it with a sleek black jacket and minimal jewelry, aiming for a look that was both refined and enigmatic. As I applied a subtle touch of makeup, my mind buzzed with questions. Who was behind these mysterious reservations? Had I unwittingly signed up for a secret club of thrill-seekers and connoisseurs? Or was it a personal invitation to an experience meticulously planned by someone with intimate knowledge of my desires? With no immediate answers and only the thrill of the unknown as my guide, I set out. The rain had tapered off to a gentle drizzle as I hailed a rideshare from my apartment. The vehicle's interior, bathed in soft amber light, felt like a moving sanctuary, a brief escape from the chill of the night and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. I glanced at the receipt on my phone one last time and gave the driver the address for La Belle Époque. As the car navigated through narrow streets lined with glistening puddles and flickering streetlights, I couldn't help but feel as though I were being led into a secret dimension that lay just beyond the veil of ordinary existence. After a short drive, the car pulled up in front of a nondescript yet stately building. The facade was a tasteful blend of restored brickwork and modern glass accents, a physical manifestation of history and contemporary elegance in perfect harmony. I paid the driver and stepped out into the cool night, umbrella in hand, and took a deep breath as I approached the entrance. The bistro's sign, elegantly wrought in gold, glistened softly against the dark sky, its illuminated letters announcing La Belle Époque with a promise of refined decadence. Inside, the bistro was a world apart from the bustling city streets. Soft classical music floated through the air, intermingling with the gentle clink of crystal and the murmur of refined conversation. The decor was sumptuous yet understated, dark wood paneling, plush velvet chairs, and intimate lighting that cast delicate shadows across artfully arranged tables. I was greeted by a maître d' with a polite smile and an air of quiet confidence. "Good evening," he said as he checked my name against the reservation list. "We've been expecting you." His tone was warm but reserved, and as he led me through the softly lit corridors of the restaurant, I felt that I was stepping into a secret inner circle, a space reserved for those who dared to seek out life's hidden pleasures. I was seated at a table near a large window that overlooked a narrow cobblestone street, its view partially obscured by softly swaying trees. The table was set immaculately, crisp white linens, polished silverware, and a small vase holding a single, elegant rose. I sank into my chair, still reeling from the surreal experience of having these digital confirmations appear so unexpectedly, and waited as the soft murmur of other diners filled the air. Every so often, I stole a glance at my phone to see if another message might appear. Instead, the only confirmation was the invitation to enjoy the evening and let fate weave its own tale. As I perused the menu, an exquisite selection of French-inspired dishes replete with descriptions of flavors that promised to be both innovative and comforting, I couldn't help but feel that this wasn't merely a dinner. It was an initiation into a world where every detail was curated to evoke emotion, to transcend the ordinary, and to awaken something profound within me. I ordered the chef's tasting menu, an array of small courses that would allow me to sample the full spectrum of the bistro's culinary prowess. With each course, from a delicate amuse-bouche that sang of the season's first blossoms to a rich coquille vin that spoke of autumnal comfort, I felt my senses being heightened, as if the meal itself were a symphony designed to resonate with every hidden corner of my soul. Between courses, I couldn't help but observe the other diners. There was an air of quiet sophistication among them, a shared sense that they, too, were participants in an unfolding narrative that defied the routine of everyday life. I caught snippets of conversation that hinted at secret passions, unspoken ambitions, and past rendezvous shrouded in mystery. It was as though the bistro was a haven for those who lived by a different set of rules, who embraced risk and reveled in the unpredictable nature of human connection. I felt an inexplicable kinship with these strangers, a silent acknowledgement that we were all there to reclaim something that had been buried beneath layers of societal expectations. As the final course arrived, a delicate dessert of lavender-infused crème brûlée with a perfectly caramelized top, I received another discreet notification on my phone. This time, the digital receipt confirmed my next destination, a glamorous hotel stay at Aurora Luxe. The message was succinct and imbued with the same allure as the first, promising a night of opulent comfort and further private encounters. I finished my dessert slowly, savoring not only the exquisite flavors but also the sense that the night was far from over. It was merely evolving into new, unexplored chapters. After paying my bill and bidding a polite farewell to the Maître d', I stepped out into the cool night, the bistro's gentle glow receding behind me. I hailed another rideshare and, with little time to ponder, provided the address of Aurora Luxe, a hotel that seemed to rise like a jewel amidst the city's skyline, its architecture an elegant fusion of modern design and classic luxury. The drive was short yet felt charged with anticipation, each passing street a blur as I contemplated the next phase of my mysterious journey. Arriving at Aurora Luxe, I was immediately struck by its grandeur. The hotel's exterior was a study in opulence, towering glass walls, intricate metalwork, and an expansive, inviting lobby that beckoned guests with a sense of refined exclusivity. I checked in with a receptionist whose demeanor was both courteous and discreet, as if he understood that my stay was part of a narrative best kept hidden from prying eyes. I was escorted to my suite, a spacious room on one of the higher floors, with a balcony offering panoramic views of the glittering city below. The suite's interior was a masterclass in modern luxury, plush furnishings, carefully chosen art pieces, and ambient lighting that created an atmosphere of quiet indulgence. Every detail, from the arrangement of fresh flowers on a side table to the soft hum of classical music in the background, was designed to evoke a sense of escape and intimacy. I stood at the floor-to-ceiling window for a long moment, absorbing the breathtaking view of the city's nocturnal splendor. The lights below sparkled like distant stars, and I couldn't help but feel that I was suspended between two worlds, the familiar routine of my previous life and the uncharted, thrilling territory of tonight's secret rendezvous. With a deep breath, I allowed myself to be enveloped by the serenity of the suite, feeling simultaneously secure and exhilarated by the promise of what the night might hold. My mind wandered back to the digital receipts that had set this entire sequence in motion. Each one was a silent testament to the idea that life was not confined to the boundaries of mundane routine, but rather was filled with hidden invitations waiting to be accepted. The bistro had offered me a glimpse of refined decadence and unexpected camaraderie, while the hotel promised an escape into luxury and further private encounters that were to be revealed in due course. I sat down at a small writing desk near the window and began to record my thoughts in a leather-bound journal, each word a declaration of newfound freedom and an acknowledgement of the bold step I had taken. I wrote about the flavors of the meal, the soft murmur of conversations, the eyes that met mine with unspoken understanding, and the gentle thrill that now pulsed through my veins. As the hours slipped by, I felt the slow transformation of the night within me. The initial shock of the digital receipts had given way to a profound sense of possibility, a realization that I was now part of a secret world that celebrated passion, vulnerability, and the unpredictable beauty of intimate encounters. The hotel suite, with its quiet elegance and the panoramic view of a city alive with nocturnal mysteries, became my sanctuary, a place where I could reflect on the journey that had brought me here and the one that lay ahead. I wondered what surprises the rest of the night might hold, Perhaps a discreet message inviting me to a private lounge within the hotel, where whispered conversations and clandestine meetings would continue the narrative that had begun at the bistro. Even as I wrote, my phone vibrated with yet another notification, this time a message from an unknown sender confirming a new rendezvous. Tonight, join us at the Sapphire Lounge, level 15. Your private encounter awaits. My heart leaped at the news. The Sapphire Lounge was renowned in hushed circles as a hidden gem within Aurora Lux, a place where the elite gathered to indulge in moments of refined passion and secret conversation. With a careful glance at my journal, I noted down the time, 10:30 p.m. I set my alarm discreetly, determined to embrace every moment of this unfolding adventure. As midnight approached, I found myself meticulously preparing for the next leg of my journey. I changed into an elegant, form-fitting black dress that shimmered subtly under the suite's ambient lighting, its simplicity a perfect complement to the night's intricate tapestry of mystery. I draped a soft shawl around my shoulders and applied a final touch of makeup, a bold red lip and eyes that reflected the quiet determination of someone ready to embrace the unknown. With a measured breath, I left the sanctuary of my suite, stepping into the grand lobby of Aurora Lux once more. The hotel's corridors were a quiet maze of opulent design and subdued elegance, each turn a promise of further secrets waiting to be revealed. I followed discreet signage directing me toward the Sapphire Lounge on level 15. The elevator ride was brief, yet each floor that passed felt like ascending deeper into a realm that was entirely apart from the ordinary. When the elevator doors opened, I was greeted by a corridor bathed in soft, sapphire-hued light, a fitting introduction to the lounge that lay ahead. The Sapphire Lounge was a study in modern glamour, a space where sleek, contemporary design blended seamlessly with intimate, luxurious touches. Plush seating areas were arranged in discreet clusters, separated by artful partitions that afforded privacy while encouraging conversation. Ambient music, a sultry blend of jazz and electronic beats, permeated the air, setting a mood that was both relaxed and charged with anticipation. I was greeted by a hostess whose smile was both inviting and enigmatic. "Welcome," she said in a quiet tone. "Please, make yourself comfortable. Your private encounter will begin shortly." Her words, soft yet laden with promise, sent a shiver down my spine. I found a seat in a secluded corner of the lounge, near a floor-to-ceiling window that offered a mesmerizing view of the city below. As I settled into the plush chair, I allowed myself to absorb the myriad sensations around me, the velvety texture of the cushions, the soft murmur of conversations in nearby clusters, the delicate aroma of exotic incense that mingled with the subtle perfume of polished wood and refined leather. Every detail seemed carefully orchestrated to evoke a sense of intimacy and possibility. I felt as if I were on the cusp of something extraordinary, a private encounter that would redefine the contours of my life. Moments later, a discreet figure approached, a man whose presence exuded quiet confidence and sophistication. He introduced himself as Olivier, his voice low and smooth, with an accent that hinted at distant lands and hidden stories. "Bonsoir," he said with a courteous bow. "I have been expecting you." His eyes held a depth that suggested he had witnessed many secret nights, each one a chapter in a tale of passion and transformation. With a gentle gesture, he invited me to join him at a smaller, more intimate seating area reserved for private conversations. I followed, feeling the subtle magnetism of his presence drawing me closer to the unknown. For the next hour, Olivier and I spoke in hushed tones, our conversation meandering from art and literature to the delicate intricacies of desire and the human spirit. He told me of his own journey, a life that had taken him across continents, from bustling metropolises to remote, serene hideaways, each experience a stepping stone toward understanding the true meaning of beauty and connection. I shared my own story, the quiet routine of my existence and the secret longing for something more, something that transcended the banal routines of daily life. His words resonated deeply, and I felt as if we were kindred souls, both seekers on an odyssey of self-discovery. Every word exchanged, every subtle smile, every fleeting touch of our hands, was a quiet affirmation that the secret rendezvous was not merely a one-off escape, but the beginning of a transformative journey. As the clock inched toward 1 a.m., our conversation was interrupted by another discreet message on my phone. The message was a final confirmation for the night's planned encounter, a promise of further intimacy to be unveiled in due time. I tucked my phone away, feeling that I had already glimpsed only the surface of what the night had to offer. With a final, lingering look at Olivier, I excused myself and made my way back to the elevator, my mind a whirlwind of emotions and possibilities. Back in my suite, as I locked the door behind me and allowed myself a moment of solitude, I sat by the window and looked out over the glittering city. The digital receipts, the lavish dinners, the the secret encounters at a posh bistro and a glamorous hotel, each moment of the night had been a thread in a tapestry of hidden beauty and transformation. I opened my journal once more and began to write, capturing every sensation, every emotion, every whispered secret that had found its way into my heart. In the soft glow of the pre-dawn light, I realized that this night was not merely an escape from the mundane, it was an awakening, a rebirth into a world where passion, art, and intimacy were not luxuries, but necessities. I fell asleep that morning with the gentle hum of the city in my ears and the promise of future secret encounters echoing in my dreams. I knew that my life had irrevocably changed. No longer would I allow routine to smother the vibrant, unpredictable tapestry of my soul. Instead, I would cherish every digital receipt, every secret invitation, as a key to unlocking a hidden world of lavish dinners and private, forbidden meetups. And so, with each new day, I embraced the unknown with a heart open to possibility, ready to follow the next whisper of a digital message that would lead me deeper into the exquisite mystery of existence. I awoke the next day with a head full of vivid memories and a heart still fluttering with the echoes of that fateful night. The secret rendezvous had unlocked something in me, a sense of daring and possibility I had long buried beneath years of predictable routines. The soft light filtering through my curtains painted my room in gentle hues, and as I reached for my journal, I felt compelled to record every detail of the experience. The digital receipts that had confirmed my presence at La Belle Epoque and Aurora Luxe were not just records of transactions. They were symbols of a metamorphosis, a key to a world where indulgence, mystery, and profound human connection merged into one unforgettable evening. Over the course of the following days, I found that life had begun to pulse with a new rhythm. The crisp scent of rain on the pavement, the quiet murmur of the city at dawn, and even the mundane chatter of co-workers took on a hint of possibility. I recalled every nuance from that secret night, the gentle clink of fine silverware at the bistro, the whispered confidences shared over sumptuous courses, the subtle interplay of glances and half-smiles with strangers who, like me, seemed to be dancing on the edge of their own hidden desires. Returning to my work was surprisingly transformative. I discovered that while I could no longer fully recapture the night's magic in the sterile glow of fluorescent office lights, a part of that energy had seeped into my everyday interactions. I found myself more empathetic, more willing to share small joys and personal reflections with colleagues who, in turn, responded with their own fragments of vulnerability. At lunch, over hastily packed sandwiches and lukewarm coffee, I would catch someone's eye, exchange a knowing smile, or hear a whispered remark about seizing life's unexpected moments. Each encounter served as a quiet reminder that I was no longer content to remain hidden behind the mask of routine. Yet, the thrill of that secret rendezvous was not destined to fade into a mere memory. Not long after I had written the last few lines in my journal, my phone vibrated with a new, encrypted message. Its subject line was unadorned yet carried a weight that made my pulse quicken all over again. Continuation, embrace the journey. The message outlined details for a new escape, a return to the world of clandestine rendezvous, this time in an entirely different setting. I was to travel to a coastal city known for its artistic heritage and storied past, where I would spend a weekend at an exclusive seaside villa. The digital receipt confirmed my booking, a reserved suite overlooking an endless expanse of blue, and included further instructions, private dinner engagements at hidden beachfront eateries and intimate gatherings in secret courtyards illuminated only by moonlight. That very evening, after a brief, bittersweet farewell to the remnants of the previous night, I began to prepare for what I now recognized as a second chapter of my unfolding journey. My apartment, which had once felt like a prison of routine, now became a launching pad for adventure. I unpacked an outfit reserved for such extraordinary occasions, a flowing, ocean blue dress that whispered of the sea, paired with delicate silver accessories that caught the light as I moved. I applied my makeup with a quiet confidence, each stroke a small act of rebellion against the ordinary. As I zipped up my bag and checked my phone one last time for further instructions, a thrill surged through me. This was a deliberate step into the unknown. I caught a train that carried me away from the familiar urban landscape toward a coastal town where the horizon met the water in an endless dance. The journey itself was a meditation, as I gazed out at fields, forests, and the occasional glimpse of a shoreline in the distance. The rhythmic clatter of the train on iron rails seemed to echo my own heartbeat, a steady reminder that with every mile, I was shedding layers of old fears and embracing new dreams. Upon arrival in the coastal town, the salty breeze and the gentle sound of waves crashing against rocky shores immediately transformed my state of mind. I checked into a modest boutique in that, while far less opulent than Aurora Luxe, exuded its own kind of understated charm, a blend of rustic comfort and artistic flair. The lobby was decorated with local art, and the owner, a a kindly older gentleman named Mr. Reyes, greeted me with a nod and a knowing smile as if he, too, were aware of the secrets the night might hold. That evening, I set off to the first event as outlined in the encrypted message, a lavish dinner at a hidden beachfront eatery known only to those invited to experience its culinary magic. The venue was a small pavilion tucked away behind dunes and wildflowers, accessible only by a narrow, winding path lit by soft lanterns. As I navigated the path, the moon's reflection danced on the ocean's surface, and the air was rich with the scent of salt and blooming night jasmine. I arrived at the pavilion to find tables elegantly set with white linens, crystal glasses, and centerpieces of delicate shells and driftwood art. The gentle sound of acoustic music, played live by a local musician, lent a dreamlike quality to the evening. I was greeted by a hostess named Marisol, whose warm eyes and gentle voice made it clear that I was among kindred spirits gathered to celebrate life's hidden beauty. "Welcome," she said softly, "to our seaside soiree. Please, let your senses be your guide tonight." I found a table by the edge of the pavilion, where I could see the vast expanse of the ocean stretching into the horizon, its surface sparkling like scattered diamonds under the starlight. The dinner was a feast both for the palate and for the soul. Each course was a carefully orchestrated expression of local flavors, a delicate crab tartare that evoked memories of summer picnics, a rich, slow-simmered seafood stew that warmed me from within, and a dessert of tropical fruits drizzled with a tangy passion-fruit reduction. As I savored each bite, I felt the food not merely nourish me, but also tell stories, stories of ancient coastal traditions, whispered love affairs between the sea and the land, and of a timeless dance between nature and human creativity. Throughout the dinner, I engaged in gentle conversation with fellow guests, artists, writers, travelers, and locals, each person a vibrant thread in the tapestry of that secret evening. I found myself drawn into a conversation with a painter named Lorenzo, whose canvases captured the raw beauty of the coastline in colors so vivid they seemed to breathe. Over glasses of crisp, local white wine, Lorenzo spoke of the transformative power of art and the courage it took to break free from the mundane to pursue one's passion. His words resonated with the quiet rebellion in my own heart, and in that moment, I felt an unspoken kinship that transcended the limitations of language. After the dinner, as the conversation lingered like a gentle refrain and the night deepened into an almost sacred silence, I received another encrypted message on my phone. "Next, the hidden courtyard. Let your spirit soar under the moon's embrace." Intrigued and emboldened, I thanked my new acquaintances, slipped away from the pavilion, and made my way through a maze of narrow, moonlit alleys toward the promised destination. The hidden courtyard was a secret garden ensconced within an old colonial mansion, its entrance concealed behind a tangle of bougainvillea and ivy. I arrived to find that the courtyard had been transformed into an intimate gathering space, a delicate interplay of soft lighting, antique furnishings, and the natural beauty of overgrown flora. A small group of guests, gathered in clusters, conversed quietly and shared fragments of poetry, philosophy, and personal revelation. The atmosphere was electric yet tender, a celebration of vulnerability, creativity, and the unspoken promise of a brighter, more authentic life. In the heart of the courtyard, I encountered a woman named Serena, whose gentle presence and soulful eyes immediately conveyed wisdom and compassion. "Welcome," she whispered, as if speaking directly to the parts of me that had long been hidden away. "This is a place where every whispered secret finds its voice, and every heart dares to dream." As Serena spoke, I felt as though I were being cradled by a shared understanding of life's fragility and beauty. I joined a circle of guests who were exchanging stories of lost loves, forgotten ambitions, and the quiet triumphs of defying expectations. In that raw, unguarded space, I allowed my own truths to surface, recollections of quiet desperation, the sacrifices of a life dictated by duty, and the soft, persistent yearning for a love that could liberate me from the confines of routine. As midnight approached once again, the atmosphere in the courtyard shifted imperceptibly from reflective to exuberant. The gentle murmur of heartfelt conversations was gradually overtaken by the rhythmic pulse of music emanating from an unseen source. A band of local musicians had gathered in a corner of the courtyard, their instruments blending traditional melodies with modern harmonies to create a soundtrack that was both ancient and timeless. In that moment, it felt as though the very air vibrated with possibility, and I was swept up in an impromptu dance beneath the stars. I danced with abandon, each step a silent defiance against the limitations of my former life. It was as if every movement unlocked a deeper layer of my identity, a self that was bold, unrestrained, and beautifully alive. In the soft aftermath of that dance, as the first hints of dawn began to lighten the horizon and the magical night retreated like a fading dream, I found myself alone in a quiet corner of the courtyard. I sat on a weathered stone bench, still feeling the resonance of the evening's emotions in every fiber of my being. The digital receipts, the lavish dinners, the secret getaways, they were not fleeting escapes, but milestones on a journey of self-discovery that had irrevocably altered the way I saw the world. I closed my eyes, letting the gentle caress of the early morning breeze and the distant murmur of waking voices lull me into a state of profound reflection. In that solitary moment, I understood that the secret encounters and clandestine experiences were a necessary rebellion against a life that had, for too long, been defined by safety and predictability. I had tasted a flavor of freedom that was both exhilarating and, at times, terrifying, a freedom that demanded vulnerability, spontaneity, and the courage to embrace one's innermost dreams. I resolved to carry this newfound spirit into every aspect of my life, to allow the spark ignited by these secret getaways to guide me toward a future rich with possibility and authenticity. Returning to my modest inn later that morning, I sat at a small table by the window and began to write once again in my journal. My pen moved feverishly as I recounted the laughter, the whispered confidences, the taste of salt and wine, and the electrifying, unguarded moments shared with strangers who had, for a few precious hours, become fellow pilgrims on a journey toward self-reclamation. I promised myself that I would no longer settle for a life dictated by routine and fear. Instead, I vowed to seek out beauty, connection, and the uncharted adventures that lay hidden in the folds of everyday existence. Over the following days, the coastal town revealed itself to me in new, unexpected ways. I spent mornings walking along deserted beaches, collecting smooth pebbles and listening to the endless, soothing roar of the ocean. I visited local markets where artisans displayed their handmade crafts, each piece a testament to the enduring power of creativity and the desire to express one's unique voice. In quiet cafes and bustling plazas, I engaged in conversations with locals who shared their own stories of love, loss, and the fierce determination to live fully. Every interaction, every moment of beauty I encountered, was imbued with the spirit of the secret rendezvous that had set my journey in motion. One balmy afternoon, as the sun dipped low and bathed the town in a golden glow, I received another encrypted message on my phone, a subtle reminder that the journey was far from over. This new message, brief and enigmatic, read, "The voyage continues. Tonight, follow the call of the sea. Details to be revealed at the Pearl Pavilion." Intrigued by the promise of yet another chapter, I readied myself once more for an evening of hidden indulgence. I chose an outfit that felt both light and liberating, a flowing dress in soft pastel hues that mimicked the colors of the sunset, and sandals that carried the ease of a carefree spirit. That evening, I made my way to the Pearl Pavilion, a secluded seaside venue known only to those who dared to dream. The path there was illuminated by clusters of lanterns, each one reflecting off the water to create a shimmering trail that led directly to the pavilion. As I arrived, the sight that greeted me was nothing short of ethereal. The pavilion was a graceful structure of white, its design reminiscent of ancient temples dedicated to the sea. Soft music drifted on the breeze, mingling with the gentle lap of waves against the shore, and a few clusters of guests gathered in quiet, joyful groups. Inside the pavilion, I found that every detail had been curated to evoke a sense of wonder and intimacy. Tables were set with crisp linens and delicate, hand-painted ceramics, and the air was perfumed with the scent of salt, jasmine, and a hint of something sweetly exotic. I took a seat at a table near a large window that overlooked the endless ocean, its surface dotted with the silver trails of passing boats. There, I encountered a man named Elias, whose warm smile and thoughtful eyes suggested a life rich with stories and quiet adventures. Over the course of the dinner, Elias spoke of his travels along distant shores, of the moments when the ocean had revealed its deepest secrets to him, and of a time when he had dared to abandon a conventional life for one filled with endless exploration. His words resonated with me deeply, echoing the quiet yearning that had driven me to accept these secret invitations. As the evening unfolded, conversation gave way to silence, and the only sound was the soft music and the rhythmic whisper of the waves. I found myself gazing out at the vast expanse of the sea, feeling as though I were on the brink of an entirely new world, one where every horizon was a promise of transformation and every tide carried the possibility of renewal. In that reflective stillness, I realized that each secret rendezvous was more than an escape. It was a pilgrimage toward rediscovering parts of myself that had been hidden in the shadows of routine and resignation. The night at the Pearl Pavilion ended with a quiet, heartfelt farewell. As guests began to disperse, Elias and I exchanged a long, lingering look, a silent promise that our paths might cross again in this vast, beautiful tapestry of life. I stepped out of the pavilion, the cool night air and the soft glow of the moon filling me with a sense of gratitude and anticipation. I knew that I was forever changed, that the secret rendezvous confirmed by those digital receipts had set me on a journey of continuous self-discovery and passionate living. Back in my modest inn that night, as I lay in bed with the rhythmic lullaby of the ocean in the distance, I reviewed the events of the past few days in my mind. Every lavish dinner, every whispered secret, and every intimate encounter was a step toward breaking free from the confines of a life lived in quiet obscurity. I had tasted a form of freedom that was exhilarating, transformative, and, above all, deeply real. With the promise of future secret invitations dancing in my dreams, I drifted into a sleep filled with visions of opulent escapes, mysterious meeting places, and the endless possibility of a life reimagined. Now, as I write these reflections in the soft light of a new day, I know that my journey is only just beginning. The digital receipts that once startled me into action have become the markers of a vibrant new life, a life where every secret invitation is a doorway to discovery, every posh bistro and glamorous hotel stay a chapter in the story of my rebirth. I carry with me the lessons of the past few days, that vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength, that beauty often lies hidden in the spaces between certainty and risk, and that the most extraordinary adventures await those brave enough to embrace the unknown. As I prepare to step back into the world beyond this coastal town, I do so with a heart forever transformed by the secret rendezvous and intimate encounters that have reshaped my perception of what it means to truly live. I am filled with an unquenchable thirst for discovery and a resolve to continue seeking out the hidden corners of existence where passion and art intertwine. Every encrypted message, every digital receipt, is a reminder that life's most profound experiences often come in unexpected forms, whispered invitations that beckon us to leave behind the mundane and enter a realm of infinite possibility. And so, with a quiet determination and a spirit ready to soar, I embrace the future, knowing that each secret meeting, each lavish dinner, and every private encounter will continue to enrich the tapestry of my life, guiding me toward a destiny that is as extraordinary as it is uniquely my own.